The most important Senate race in the country is in Nevada, where Tea Party candidate Sharon Angle holds a slim lead in the polls over Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, who will join me in a moment. But Sharon Angle isn't just in the Tea Party or the Republican Party. According to audio tapes of an October 10th speech leaked earlier today, she seems to believe she's in the party of God.
We're told, and it's a promise, in 2 Chronicles 7:14, if my people who are called by my name, us, that's us here in this church, will humble ourselves and pray, seek his face, turn from our wicked ways. And we do have some things that we need to be confessing. We as a nation have been walking away from our constitutional freedom and relying on government instead to take care of the widow and the orphan. Isn't that what he says? True religion and undefiled before God is that you care for the widow and the orphan. Isn't that the poor and needy among us? And yet we're saying, well, the government, we have all these programs now, aid for families with dependent children and Medicare and Social Security.
Joining me now, Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid. Thanks for joining us tonight, Senator.
It's really my pleasure. Thanks for inviting me.
Senator, if you could do the last 2 years in the Senate over again, what would you do differently?
Well, we really didn't have much of a choice. We found ourselves at the beginning of the new Congress in a hole so deep we could hardly see out of it. We were forced to do something with President Bush, with the TARP. We worked well on a bipartisan basis to follow through on that. It was tough to do, $700 billion. It's all been paid back except $25 billion of it. We're going to make money on that deal. We had to do the stimulus because all the experts told us we had to, including Mark Zandi, John McCain's chief economic advisor. But for the stimulus, we'd be in a lot worse shape than we're in. We have a long, long ways to go. But I think we did a pretty good job for the deep hole we were in. Now, does that mean the economy is all in good shape and we don't have to worry about it? Of course not. With the 8 million jobs lost during the Bush presidency, we've gotten about 3.5 million of those back. We have a long ways to go. But we do have plans in line to make sure that we get ourselves out of this as soon as we can.
Senator, how do you imagine the economy would look now if you had not taken the action you did on the banking crisis and other matters? What would the foreclosure rate be in Nevada? What would the unemployment rate be in Nevada?
Well, there are people that have written about this. It's just not me saying it. First of all, we would have had, according to Secretary of Finance Hank Paulson and the entire Bush administration, we would have had a worldwide depression. We would have gone right off the brink. We were able to save that. Now, we have had many experts talk about that. We've also had experts talk about what the stimulus or the economic recovery package has done. It has stabilized a lot of places in the country, not every place, but it's helped significantly. We're told by these experts, had we not done this, nationwide, the unemployment rate would be 16%. 16%. So the housing market is still in trouble. We have a lot of work to do there. But if we hadn't done that recovery package, it would be in education in America would be in more difficult shape than it is now. Right now, it's not good. We're 14th in the world for college graduates. Just a few years ago, we were #1. So this stimulus bill provided tens of billions of dollars to help with education. And we've done that. College education, we improved Pell Grants by $550. We got the middleman out. We got direct lending with the universities. That saved $80 billion. Now young men and women and their parents do not have to suffer. They have to only pay 10% of their net income to pay back the loans. So we did a lot of good things for higher education, in addition to what we did with student loans. We also put money into education, as we did here in Nevada, some $400 million in Nevada for higher education, approximately $400 million for K through 12, and this is the way it is all over the country. Has it solved all the problems? No. But your question is, what would it be without this? It would be an economic disaster, worse than what we have now by far.
Senator Reid, you're running against a candidate who is not a believer in as much activist government as you are. She criticizes what she calls government health care, and yet she and her husband live on a government health care plan, her husband being a former government worker. Is there some disconnect with Nevada voters on this? Do they feel that it's okay if she lives inconsistently with what she's saying? We just want to vote for somebody who says the things we want to hear.
Lawrence, not only does she have the same health care that I have, her husband has the same health care, but she lives off his pension from the federal government. Sharon Angle has for many, many years said she wants to get rid of Social Security, phase it out. She's changed a little bit, but the words are still code words for get rid of it. She wants to personalize it. She has said that Social Security recipients are welfare recipients. She has said about Social Security that it's a violation of the first commandment. I mean, that's biblical. She believes that. And recently, she said that Social Security is a wicked program. So the people of the state of Nevada, we're doing our very best to get this message out. We won't get it out through her talking to the press, because she won't talk to the press. She won't tell the press she wants to get rid of Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid and the Department of Education, the Department of Energy, the EPA, or privatize the Veterans Administration. She won't tell them that she believes that insurance companies should not be required to cover mammograms, colonoscopies, or conditions like autism. I mean, this is really extreme and extremely dangerous. This is a woman that just does not believe in government, period.
Well, you know, she doesn't talk to the press. As you know, she said she will talk to the press after the election, which is not easy to believe. But that's why it leaves us trying to figure out what she really does think. And you just quoted something she said on October 10th in Gardnersville in a church. And I've been reading it today, trying to make sense of it. She cites wicked ways, a quotation from the Bible. And under the wicked ways, she includes Medicare and Social Security. But since she's not here to take questions about that, I wonder what Nevadans think she means about the wicked ways of Medicare and Social Security and what they would expect her to do about that. Do Nevadans not support Medicare and Social Security the way the rest of the country does?
You have to take her at her word. You have to take her at her word. She wants to phase out Social Security. You have to take her word that she wants to get rid of Medicare. You have to take her word for it that she believes it's a violation of the First Commandment. You have to take her word for it that she believes it's wicked. I mean, she does not believe in Social Security even a little bit. And you can't ask her to explain this, and she wouldn't anyway, because she can't. It's not explainable.
In another wicked way that she listed in that talk in that church is divorce. She cited divorce as one of our wicked ways that we have to stop. And in the final sentence of that same thing she said in that church, she praised Ronald Reagan, our first divorced president. Is this the kind of jumble that you run up against on the campaign trail constantly with her, these inconsistencies that make no sense and are that far out of the mainstream?
You know, your viewers, they know names like Paul Laxalt, Jim Santini, John Ensign. These are just a few of the people I've run against. They all were able to speak in non-code words. Here is a person I'm running against, not these men and women, these men I've talked about now. I've run against women also before, but nothing like this. Never have I run against someone that speaks in code words that are not explainable. This is a situation that I have never come across. And I have to say, Lawrence, the press has given her a pretty easy go. My purpose in doing this interview with you is the people in Nevada have to get out and vote. We have just a few days left, and they have to go to that ballot box and say, we can't have a woman that's this extreme and this dangerous, someone who wants to privatize the VA, someone who believes in these crazy ideas.
Are they trying? Do you feel that they're trying to send Nevada voters who are polling in favor of Sharon Angle now in fairly large numbers? Certainly cannot all be Tea Party fanatics. Some of them have to be voters who are just trying to find a way to say no to Democratic leadership in the Senate and Democratic leadership in the White House. What would you say is the best way for those voters who are dissatisfied with the Democratic leadership so far during this presidency to express themselves next week?
I think people have to understand that, do we want to go back to where we were? I mean, we have stopped Wall Street from ever being able to do to us again what they did to us before. She doesn't agree with that. She thinks that that is too much regulation. Wall Street collapsed because of too much regulation. You can't find a political scientist that agrees with that. She believes the oil spill of BP was of too much regulation of the oil companies. Try to find scientists that will agree with that. Her ideas are so extreme, and I think the people in Nevada are not as are concerned about the economy. I think they're just reaching out, trying out of desperation, and I understand that. But everyone has to understand that I didn't create the problem. This Congress didn't create the problem. We've been trying to get out of a hole that was dug for us by the prior administration.
Senator, I have to tell you, I think your job is the toughest job in Washington, Majority Leader of the Senate, and I wonder if you would be better off campaigning in Nevada this week if you had not been Majority Leader and just been a freelance Democrat like Ben Nelson in Nebraska, who could just go whatever way played best in his state. Do you think you'd be better off running in Nevada this year if you were not Majority Leader?
No, I think it's a tremendous asset for the people of the state of Nevada to have someone that guides what goes on in the Senate, and all you have to do is look around Nevada and find what I've been able to bring back to the state. I feel comfortable where we are in this election. I am really putting my foot as far to the floorboard as I can, because we have the best get out the vote operation in the history of the country, with the exception of presidential elections. So we feel okay where we are, but we just want to make sure that everyone, the last few days of this election, gets out and stops this extremism, this dangerous issue, these dangerous positions that this woman has taken.
Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, thank you for taking time out on the campaign trail to talk to us tonight.
My pleasure, really, Lawrence. Thanks.